and welcome to another episode of If It's in the Mind, It Can Be Managed. We are talking workplace wellness, we're talking mindset, we're talking mental health and trauma recovery. And I like to bring on coaches who are in the same space as me with a different take on life, trauma recovery, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. But the big part of the subject today, especially with Lynn, and I'll allow you to introduce yourself, is Methylene Blue. What it is, how it works, the whole process of Methylene Blue, because I've been looking into it
Okay.
and I was like, when you started talking about it, I'm like, Lynn, you've got to come and talk about it on the podcast. 'Cause this is pretty, it's really cool, but
Mm.
I need an expert, and you are today's expert, Lynn. I know Lynn's like said, oh, I don't know that. You do, Lynn, because you know more than me. And that's something I'm like, right. It's about energy. It's about a positive chemical, and I want to talk about it. So, Lynn,
Okay. Okay.
introduce yourself. Tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
So my name is Lynn Erasmus. I've got a social enterprise called Pathfinder CIC, which is a social enterprise. That means we're purpose driven, um, and we are here to change the world. So, what we are doing, we specialize in nervous system regulation. So, we are the mechanic who's got a whole toolbox full of tools. And depending on what is wrong with the car, we will bring out that tool to help release the tension and put some new brakes on, etc., etc. So, just to have an analogy of what we do, um, we incorporate the body, mind, and the spirit. So, we work on three levels where we help people to move from the mind into the body.
Yeah,
So a lot of
somatically.
correct, yeah.
Yeah,
So most of the time we live up here in the head. It's everything is think we think our way through life. Where we specialize in the body. Let's get your body to tell you what is happening. So let's learn what is happening in your body. Do you have got aches in your shoulders? Do you have got knots in your stomach? Is your fists always tense? If you always got a frown? Is your jaw sore? What is the struggle? And we help release that. It's just energy. It's just a tension. When we talk about trauma, it's just a stuck energy. Addiction, stuck energy. Um, we don't make light of those words. Those are
no,
heavy,
no, no.
heavy words, and it can be incredibly deliberating.
Debilitating.
My Afrikaans is coming strongly today. But yeah, it can be life altering. So what we do is flip that around and teach you and show you what it is, give you back your power, empower you to release that trauma story, that stuck energy, um, the root cause, so that you can move on, be happy, be calm, be clear, be confident, be your happy self that you were born to be. Okay, so that's in a nutshell what we do. I'm originally from South Africa. I come from a business background, so I'm a journalist by trade.
Ooh.
I had a newspaper called Your Money that I started in South Africa, Port Elizabeth, now called Gqeberha, um, where we focused on supporting entrepreneurs, people wanting to start a business in South Africa. It's a lifestyle. So entrepreneurship is completely different to here, where if you don't work, you don't eat. So there's not a lot of work in South Africa, so you have to make do with what you have. So we work with the people with the skills that they already have or the interests that they already have, and help them establish a business. So that's what we did with our events and newspaper. And then we closed that down in 2017 when I had my breakdown, and I kicked my addictions, and that's when I started in the health and wellness space, and I was just obsessed with staying sober this time. It's been 15 years. Every year, here comes Lynn again. Oh, how long is it going to last this year? I don't know. Let's see. So I've lasted 8 years so far. Woohoo! So I am always looking for the next. big discovery of what is working, what is not working, how does it work, how does it interplay again with body, mind, and spirit.
Mm.
Um, and the treatments that we focus majority on is the NADA acupuncture protocol that detox the organs and calm the nervous system down, hypnotherapy, and somatic trauma-informed coaching and training. So what we discovered, so as a journalist, I love always doing more research. What's the next thing? So when I started investigating trauma, how does it work? What do we do? The word keep popping in was the gut. So trauma can change the gut, your biodome. Okay, so if you've lived in a high acute stress environment or trauma, it will change your gut. So that means the natural hormones that your body naturally produce stop producing on that level to keep you healthy and optimal. So what we started doing is reaching out to partners, and we found the Nature Vera Gut Health. Fantastic. Love, 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 love the product. Cleans the gut, remove all heavy metals, toxins, and parasites. And then we have the lemon balm that pumps your body with the multivitamins that you need. And it's also a little bit of an appetite suppressant, just to give you a little bit of a head start. And the sleep one for ashwagandha. So those are the core products that we use. Then I thought, okay, what we need is focus. And a lot of my people are coming off the antidepressants and they need, I don't know if you've ever been on it or know of anyone who's ever been on it and they came off. It's, oh my goodness, it is horrific.
We start feeling things again, right?
Well, not just that, the side effects of coming off the antidepressants,
Yeah.
especially if you've not been weaned off properly, you can't move. You're sick for days, sometimes weeks, that you can't actually move. You're that sick. Um, so we were trying to think of what we can do to help them through the recovery of as they come off the antidepressants. And this is where the methylene blue came out. Okay, so methylene blue kept popping up. I was like, this is the next big thing. It's been done a lot of research on it. But the thing is, you can't use methylene blue when you're on antidepressants because it creates sertraline. Um, it contains serotonin. Sorry, it
I was going to
activates
say,
the
so
serotonin.
yes, which is what
Activ
antidepressants are. They are
yes.
RS1s or SR1s. What's the technical term for antidepressants?
Yeah, I'll get to that in this SSRI. Yeah,
SSRI,
yeah,
which
or
is
MAO.
yes, which was technically creating more serotonin in the brain, which is what they've proved is not true,
Mm,
that antidepressants create more serotonin because they believe there was a lack of serotonin production within the brain, which is why people got depressed, which is they kind of proved that not true about 50 years ago, but they're
yeah.
still the used prescription for
Yes.
depression. It's a triggering story. I get that.
Yep.
Lynn, what a
Yep.
cracking introduction to the podcast there, Lynn.
Yeah.
And I'm letting you pause because I want you to take a breath. Because that was in the few times I've met you, this Lynn on the podcast is a different Lynn to who I meet when I'm at networking.
Okay.
This is, if I'm allowed to say, a lot
Yeah.
more knowledgeable Lynn.
Okay.
Lynn, thank you.
No worries. When you do things for so long, it's like, it's common knowledge. So
It's
when you
common
do
knowledge
things like
to us, though it's not common
podcasts,
knowledge to everyone
yeah.
else. I know. I know. I've worked with coaches that like even like just going through the basics of mindset and things like that, and they'll be like, "Well, no, because I mean I know this, and so everybody else knows." I'm like, "No, nobody knows these things." And the
I
amount
know.
I think the journey that we go on, Lynn, and I'm sure you'll
Yeah.
agree, is we get more rabbit hole into now this and this and this, and we start learning more and more and more. So that the
Yes.
stuff that we started learning, which was the basics of NLP and the basics of coaching and counseling, we're like, well, everyone must know this. And like, no, you can stand in a room, talk about the basic stuff, and everyone's like, didn't
Yeah.
know that. Did not. Even the
Yeah.
way that thoughts and beliefs and consequences from CBT, activating event, belief and consequence. I just think,
I
well, everyone must know that. It's like, no.
know. It's just crazy. I love that.
I know. So thank you very much for sharing. Now, you started moving into the conversation because I just wanted to break it up a little bit because it was going to
Okay.
be a lot. Because now we've got chapters of the story.
Okay. Yeah.
So before we so the podcast is going to change now. We're not going to go to Methylene Blue yet. We're not
Okay.
going there yet because that's the main premise of the podcast is
Yeah.
how Methylene Blue works,
Yeah.
where you can get it from,
Yeah.
and why it's a
Yeah.
powerful vitamin for people to take.
Mm.
Correct? That's
Okay.
what we're gonna get to. But we
Okay.
need to go way back to I think we all have a tipping point.
Yeah.
And your tipping point, of which I didn't know about, was your nervous breakdown.
Yes. Yeah.
So, an addiction. I didn't know there was addiction in there as well.
Yeah.
So, are you comfortable to share that story of the tipping point of Lynn from addiction and because they're not like words. And I know that once
Yeah.
we've worked in that space for a long
Yeah.
time, then we do become quite
Yes.
desensitized to trauma,
Yes. Correct.
desensitized to an addiction because they're like, well, yes, coaches work with those kind of things and
Yeah.
whether it's holistically through psychotherapy or through
Yeah.
mental health training. I
Yeah.
know I'm a coach and I've gone through NLP, CBT, EMDR, and brain
Yes.
spotting and psychosensory therapies, which is still not
Yeah.
really that well learnt of in the UK.
Yes.
Because I do brain spotting with people, and a lot of people like there's only like 3 brain spotters in the UK because it's more of an American thing that's not come over yet. And I'm like,
Ooh,
yeah, it's not great.
nice.
Yes.
Nice. Love that.
But the question is, we come back to you. I know that was your phone beeping in the background.
Okay.
So, Lynn, talk about your addiction first of all. What do you want to talk about first? I'll let you choose addiction or nervous breakdown.
Um, so it was pretty much linked together. I mean, your nervous system can only take so much. So I've been beating it with bottles of wine and packets of cigarettes for decades. Um, and that's just undealt trauma that I haven't dealt with. So I was just drowning out and trying to numb out the pain. That was my coping mechanism. That was my resources. Um, we're not taught how to build resources in ourselves, that our body can actually be our resource, our heart, our a person, a teacher, a crystal, a guide. All these things can be potential resources for us. So anyway, I didn't have that, and if I did, I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
So when I had my second child in 2014, that's when things started to seriously start breaking down for me. So with my first child in 2008, not too much. I was still nice and strong, 28 years, even though I was studying. It was not, when's it ever a good time? But uh, when in 2014, with my second child, I experienced depression for the first time in my life. So my mum committed suicide when I was 5. So I never understood what was depression. How can people feel so low
Yeah.
that they want to tap out, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And I never, ever, ever understood it until 2014. So after giving birth to my child, I experienced depression. I was like, oh man, this is rough. How are you guys living with this? This is bad.
Yeah.
Why is no one speaking about this?
Yeah.
And well, because I'm so strong, and I was quite well known in my area because I've got a newspaper and building events, so well respected in my community. So addiction and depression is not something you speak about, especially in South Africa. You just hide it behind a closed door and hope no one finds out. Um, but eventually, my friend said to me, "I think you're depressed. I think you need to go on to some antidepressants," which I then did. Still didn't work for me, and I just drank more and more and more. And then in 2017 was the big crunch. So that's when I almost killed myself and my family.
Mm.
And it was just the most horrific experience of my entire life. And that obviously comes with so much shame and guilt, and it's horrible,
Yeah.
horrible, horrible. And that's when I knew, okay, you got to make a plan, Lynn. You can't continue like this. You can't continue. And during this period, I also closed my newspaper and I started a coffee shop. So I was like building the whole coffee shop up. Um, while, with depression, and it was just horrible. And that's when I just completely had a complete meltdown. They wanted to book me, my psychiatrist wanted to book me in to like a center for
Yeah.
for for the crazies. Um, and he said, and I said, I can't do that. I've got a business, I've got children, I'm not going anywhere. So he said, well, then you have to be under supervision. And he allocated someone to me to walk the path with me. And that's where it started. So that's when I started, okay, listen, you need to take this seriously. And then in 2017, the 3rd of September, I eventually stopped completely to drink and smoke at the same time.
Oof,
Um,
that's brutal. Both at the same time.
yeah, it was, but that's the only way I could do it. And I must rewind a little bit, because in March that year of 2017, I started working part-time at a charity. So I was a events organizer for this charity, and I felt so safe. I felt so held in this place. So being an entrepreneur, you always got to hustle. You always got to, like, where's the next paycheck going to come from? So you just work yourself stupid into a frenzy. And especially if you've got an addictive nature, you just work extra hard.
Yeah.
Working is a badge of honor. Um, and that year, March, I started working for this hospice, and it covered my part of the salary that we needed to, uh, live our life in a comfortable manner. And it just gave me that break. So when we talk about addiction and just trauma in general, you got to have a resource and you got to have your environment. Your environment's got to be safe. So obviously at home, I've got my husband who's been begging me for years, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. I will do this with you. We've got this. So my environment at home was safe. And now for the first time, my work environment was safe. So I don't have to constantly hustle and get out there and where's the next, big thing going to come from. And that built my resources up. So when September came, I felt ready for that change. My body was starting to trigger the responses of, you safe, let's go into change. Because change is hard. It's you need to, we call it, prep your body, mind, and spirit for this upcoming big changes. So I would say that was probably a large part of why I felt ready this time to stick to my desire to quit.
Nice. Well done.
And that's when obviously, the healing started, which was fun.
Do you find yourself healed now or still healing?
Um, I would say 2 years ago, when I relaunched Pathfinder. So when I came to Scotland, I didn't do Pathfinder. I was doing other work, as one does. I was back in the corporate world and doing cultural intelligence and all this other stuff, nonsense. Um, and yeah, my guys was just, what are you doing? This is not what you're meant to be doing.
Yeah.
And I just kept ignoring them. And yeah, so in November 2023, I relaunched Pathfinder Kick and started doing this work. And obviously, now that you're back into focus, you start doing more research. And that's when I discovered the body based work and the trauma informed knowledge.
And this,
from
yeah,
a somatic perspective.
yeah,
And that,
somatics is hugely
oh,
important.
oh my God, that changed my life.
Yeah,
That changed my entire. So the Nord acupuncture changed my personality because
yeah,
I was quite an aggressive person, like always angry and flying off the handle, just dysregulated. Where the Nord acupuncture regulated my nervous system, so I was like, can't be bothered. It tempered my personality. Where the somatic trauma informed training and movements made me realize that it's in my body. That's why I kept self-sabotaging. That's why I kept doing this. That's why I kept overworking. That's why I kept switching. So as soon as I've got one thing that I'm so proud of, I've got like 3 books half written. I've
yeah.
got so many training programs. I've so many business ideas that as soon as it's almost ready, I leave and I go and do something else. Almost ready, and I leave and I go do something else. So this is why. So once I understood that it was just trauma, it was just the energy, you can move it, let's release it through your body. Now I'm 100% regulated. And look, I'm not going to lie to you because I still fly off the handle every now and again when I get dysregulated.
Yeah.
This year is the first time I've got staff members, very new for me.
Mm.
Having responsibility. I've got a premise. I've got, a lot of responsibility, and I spiraled again, and I was just like, work, 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 work,
Yeah.
work, 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 work. And it never works for me. Working hard doesn't work for me. The less I work, the more successful I am. So it's just
Mm.
telling my nervous system, shh, 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 it's okay. You're safe. You're safe. Now that I've got the tools, I've built up the resources. Now I can regulate myself and talk myself down before I get activated to that state. And look, we all let it in every now and again. We let these things in. Um, and then it's just a case of honoring yourself and giving yourself that week or two, however long it takes for you to get regulated again, and then trying again, and then trying again. And that's it. It's that simple. It's just holding yourself with compassion, holding yourself with love. And just say, you've got this, things have been a bit out of sorts, acknowledging your pain or your frustration, and just say, but you're doing your best. And for now, that's good enough.
Beautiful. That is, do you know what? We get a lot of stories on, and I think a lot of people are surprised. A lot of people get. I know when I got depressed, and I was really down that rabbit hole. I was, and it was a very similar thing. It was. I just kept working, 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 and I started numbing the conversations with alcohol. And for that 6 months, I was just absolutely desolate, and that's when I went on the journey. But I think it's the honesty in the stories that we have that other people watch and resonate and go, oh my God, it's not just me.
Yeah,
Oh, that's exactly what I'm doing.
yeah.
I
Mm,
think trauma has become a really scary word still.
mm,
And I think a
yeah.
lot of people want, the more we talk about how trauma can be
Mm,
resolved within the body
yes, yes.
quicker than sometimes we like to feel, and then
Oh,
get
yeah,
those skills to go, I'm
yeah.
good, I'm calm, I'm safe. A lot of
Mm,
people always ask me why, because I do a lot of cold water therapy.
okay.
And I'm always talking people into the water, just saying, all I need you to do is internally to yourself, keep repeating,
Mm,
I am calm, I am safe, I am well.
mm.
And they look
Oh,
at me and go, are you serious? I'm like, trust me, you're going to get in
I
out of the
love
water. Your
that.
nervous system will be regulated. Your nervous system will be calm. It's not going to like it, but you'll get in and out and you'll be like, oh my God, that's amazing. And I'm like, it's language,
Love that. That is so powerful.
just language. The computer's processing off the language. We go, I am
Yeah.
calm, I am safe, I am well. And it takes
Mm,
them out of the parasympathetic nervous into the
yeah.
sympathetic nervous system.
But other way around. Yeah.
Do you know what? I always
Beautiful.
get that wrong. Thank you very
I
much for
know.
correcting
I
me on
know.
that
Me
one.
too. I'm like, I just
Sympathetic
thought
into the
about.
parasympathetic nervous system. The amount of times I've said that on a video as well, and no one's ever commented it. Every time it comes out of my mouth, I'm like, I know I've said that the wrong way. I know I've said that the wrong way. Every time it comes out of my mouth. So I just know it puts us back into calm, rest, and digest, which is
There we
just that
go. That's the most
beautiful,
important.
blissful state, which is connected to the stomach. You're absolutely right. Because all the nerves go into the stomach.
Mm, yep.
Unbelievable. I'm obsessed with the nervous system, somatics, brain spotting. and helping people. Talking about it's good sometimes, but I don't think it gets the
Yeah.
result that people are looking for
Yeah.
because they still walk
It's
away
good
and
in the
go,
beginning. I
"It
think it's good
is,
in the beginning. Yeah.
yes,
And then you move on to the next stage.
yeah." Now, thank you so much for sharing, Lynn, because that was absolutely fantastic, and I didn't know that about you, Lynn. So I think that's
No
amazing.
worries.
Now, the actual reason of the podcast, because I was fascinated with it, I'm like, get me some of them. Because I do like trying different things.
Mm, mm,
And
mm.
I just think that I'd read something had popped up on my social media feed, and I'm like, I'd
Yeah.
looked into ashwagandha, I'd looked into something just popped up and I bought them. And
Yeah.
it's based, I've forgotten what the name of it is. It's something Nakatanese. And
Nectarine.
it's Nakatanese. It's from a soy curd bacteria that cleans out your arteries. Now, I've just had blood tests and there's nothing wrong with my arteries, but it's getting quite a lot of traction for this will help clear out your arteries. It'll defur them, thing. And
Oh,
it's a bacteria from a soy curd or something like that called Nakatanese, a Japanese thing. Now, I know a lot of the times in holistic things, as long as we've got a story and a brand, placebo works really
yeah.
well, right? I get
Yeah.
that. I get that. But methylene blue is
Mm,
different.
mm.
So you are here today to talk about methylene blue. What
Okay.
is it? What does it do? And why should people be using it?
Okay, so it's actually a dye. So it's a synthetic dye that was discovered in the 1800s. And then they discovered, so they used it to stain tissue under microscopes.
Yeah.
And then they realized that this dye is actually doing the work that they are investigating. So it can treat a range of diseases. But again, yeah, I'm very not concerned. I'm just very aware
Yeah.
that everyone must do their own research because
Yes.
not everything that
Always.
we talk about is for their highest good. Okay,
Correct.
this just worked for me and my family. Um, so I'll share with you in the end how this changed me and my family. But
Yeah.
I'll just quickly go through the stats and the facts so that we've got a basic understanding of it is. It's just a blue little strip, and I actually did pack it in. If you want, I can go and fetch it.
No, it's all right.
Um,
It's fine. Fine.
okay, but it's just a blue strip, so it's about the size of like that.
Yeah.
That's the size it is. You dissolve it in a glass of water. Not everyone is the same. It's just the ones that I like. I've tried a few, and this one works for me the best. It's high quality. I'm always a bit scared and skeptic of just buying stuff from any
Yes.
pharmacy or anything. So I've looked at this organization where I buy that from, and they've got a beautiful track record. Everything is authenticated. So what it does, it's a medicine dye. It's antioxidants, so it supports cellular energy, and especially the works with the mitochondria. So mitochondria is becoming a big buzzword. I don't know if you've heard about this one.
Mitochondria.
Um,
Yes, that was big in biology and chlorophyll and mitochondria. I don't know why, but that seems to be, but yeah, the
oh,
mitochondria. Yes.
check, check. Okay, so the
Yeah.
mitochondria is the energy production. So it makes your cells work harder, smarter, sorry, not harder. And it's also when we talk about for us girls, we like to keep our bodies in shape, men as well. If you like to keep your body in shape, your if your mitochondria is not working so well, then energy is dipping. And how there's like tons of research on then how you can build and boost your mitochondria energy production. But this is what this does. Okay, it's also a fantastic a cognitive a booster.
Yeah.
Your mental clarity is just like boom. It's like a light just switch on, like boom.
Yeah.
you your focus is laser sharp. Your mood enhance, reduce brain fog, recovery from oxidative stress. So yeah, it's just honestly just incredible. But again, what I said, um, it does come with a big warning on there. If you are using antidepressants rather stay away from that because it can become an actual toxin for you. So it can be seriously harmful to you if you use it with the antidepressant. So I just want you to always do your own research. Okay.
Yeah.
So I started looking into this. I listened to a podcast from Diary of a CEO, and I forget this woman's name. She is a psychiatrist. Is it a psychiatrist? A neurobiologist and a psychiatrist. She's got like, I don't know, 3 or 4 different degrees in her. And she was sharing about her child that she realized was actually suffering from depression. And she just thought the child was lazy. So she showed like she talked about a whole bunch of symptoms like, disinterested, anxiety, struggle to sleep, struggle to eat, do all those things. And I was like, hold on, it's my daughter is sounds like she's describing my daughter. So I followed the protocol that she designed for her child to kick her out of that. And that's when I started giving my daughter half of methylene blue to boost her mood, and then obviously increased her exercises, get her sleeping patterns back into a healthy state. So 8, 9 o'clock sleep, read a story, give her healthy food, took away the sweets, took all the sugary stuff away from her.
Mm.
And within 2 months, she was my happy little bouncy girl who loved life. And she was
Wow.
really, yeah, it was, I was deeply worried, concerned about her. She's a happy little thing, and she just went so depressed because we moved house. And we left behind her friends. So she was in a new school, new environment. And yeah, she took a big, big knock. And yeah, this stuff, it's just incredible. It's just incredible. I cannot live without it. And especially now over December, my mood gets low if I don't get sunshine on me.
Yeah.
And I just religiously take my methylene blue. I take it every second day. Sometimes weeks I won't take it if I feel pretty strong, but then, the mood comes upon me and I'm like, oh, okay, let me start again. So yeah, it works. It really works.
So what about, would that help with menopause then? Menopause symptoms?
Of course, it's everything. Everything I discussed with you, it's menopausal. I mean, brain fog, the energy production, the mood swings, all of that stuff. So it's just a phenomenal a product.
Wow.
Mm, yeah.
Wow. No.
It is, sometimes
It-
things just work and you're like, oh, is this the miracle thing? Yeah, I truly believe that the methylene blue is actually one of those miracle drugs um, that's been created, and yeah, it just works.
So
So I had
that's
one
fascinating.
yesterday. So you don't take one every day. So I had mine yesterday, and it does give you a blue tongue. Sometimes your teeth is blue.
So it's just literally a dye.
Yes,
It's literally a dye, and it's got
it's a synthetic dye.
and it's got what's some of the side effects then? Because we can't talk about this glorious new thing.
Mm,
Because I'm like,
mm.
well, if my wife ever watches one of my podcasts, of which she doesn't,
Yeah.
I know that she would ask, well, what's the side? I know. Thanks for laughing at that one, Lynn. What she would ask, and most people, when they come from the negative side of the brain, they would ask the negative questions towards that, which is
Mm,
fine, which is a good way.
mm.
What's the side effects of methylene blue then?
Yeah. So for people who take antidepressant, it's toxic. It's a it can like neuro. You can cause like seizures. So that's what I'm saying. It's one of those that's a miracle drug, but you got to take super uber precautions to check that it's safe for you. Um, I would never ever give it to anyone, even with the slightest hint of when they are taking antidepressants. I'm just not willing to take that risk. If they
So,
if they're willing to go off the antidepressant, sure, and they're not on any other medications, then I would I would recommend they do that.
And because this is not something you're going to be able to go to the pharmacist and say, "Can I have a bottle of methylene blue?" That's is it
Yeah.
is it holistic and is it natural and is it a vitamin?
No, no, but the it does act as a mineral. So because it's an
Yeah.
antioxidant, it cleans the blood, and yeah, but it's not a natural because it's a synthetic dye.
Where does the
Uh,
synthetic dye come from? Bearing in mind, and I say when it comes to
mm,
synthetic, I know that
mm,
when we're talking energies and we're
mm,
talking the holistic side,
mm.
we would always air for raising our vibrations with natural
Yeah,
and moving away from synthetic, which is
yeah.
I just did a podcast on somebody with that. So what is it made from? Where's the synthetic part? How is it created?
Um, okay, so I don't actually know, so I'm just looking
That's
it
fair.
up.
That's fair.
Yeah. So I'll just read what it says. It belongs to a family of compounds called phenothiazines dyes, bright, stable, and binding tissue. Chemists produce it through a reaction involving dimethylene and sodium thiosulfate, which transforms it into the blue dye. Yeah, in the 1800s, scientists realized this dye kills parasites.
Wow. I
Uh,
mean, this 1800s is like, it's not something
yeah,
that's just been
no,
made
it's
at the
been
back a
around,
little. No.
been around. Yeah. Binds the oxygen carrying molecules in blood, penetrates cells, boosts the mitochondrial electron transport, and reduce oxidative stress. Yeah, linked to help trauma, depression, nervous system repair, um, boost energy in the brain.
Mitochondria, I think, is one of the main
Yeah,
components to
it's just
driving energy
incredible.
and
So
creating. Yeah.
I would highly recommend any person who is interested in it, go and do your own research on it. There
Yeah.
are tons and tons of research on it, and there's websites that is by the medical field, so it's certified by the medical world, and then obviously the holistic alternative side as well. So I always like to look at both sides and just see where there's a commonality, because obviously the medical side will come with a lot more caution than the holistic side will do. But for me, what I tend to do is meet them halfway. So I take a little bit of the holistic and take a little bit of the facts or science, and then meet it somewhere in the middle. But yeah, do your research. You're going to be blown away. You're going to be like,
Wow.
what? It does all of that in a little blue tub. And a family friend from South Africa reached out a month or so ago. Her husband is suffering from cancer, and she wants to take him off the all the treatments. And she was investigating methylene blue, and it kept coming up as an incredible booster. And yeah, so it's starting to take a little bit of a serious note. People are starting to consider this alternative methods.
Do you know, there's so much that comes now that they had so many other options before the pharmaceutical companies came along. There were so many other
Yeah,
options. It's very strange. I'm not going to rabbit hole on that one because that's a
yeah.
whole nother podcast.
That is a whole other podcast. And yeah, it's infuriating because we've been fighting this battle for so many years
Yeah.
and I mean you from Leven, the world of witches. So that's what
Is leaving the world of witches.
well, you've got the witches museum there.
I didn't even know that. Where's that?
Cuddy!
There's a witches museum in Leven.
Yeah,
No way.
you must go. It's
Oh, I'm gonna go and
incredible.
do a TikTok on it now. I'm gonna go and Google it.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Wait, I never see. This is why I've started doing this. Right. So thanks for doing the podcast. Now let's just have a chat, but it's still part of the podcast, right? Lynn, that's the reason I started doing a Love Leaving TikTok is because I don't think people. I found a shop that I didn't even know existed, and I've lived here 20 years. And I'm walking
Wow.
past and I'm like, right, I'm doing a TikTok. They do Star Wars toys and
Oh,
3D printing
wow.
for all these cool like comic expos. I
Oh.
had so many people say, Cuddy, I've lived here 20 years. Did you even know that shop lifted? Right. Where's
Yeah.
the Witches Museum then?
It's close to the bus stop, so your beach, and then the bus stop, and I think there's a community center opposite it.
Oh, I'm Googling that. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm going.
You
Lynn,
will love the guy. I can't remember his name now, but he's incredible. He's
I
so
know there's a. Oh,
knowledgeable.
I think I do know what. Right. No, I am kind of aware. The Witchery tour guy.
Yeah,
Right,
so
I
he's got a
will. I'm going to go
museum
and I'll
in,
do my TikTok. Absolutely. Yes. No,
yeah,
that
in,
you've just set me up for my next bit of
yeah,
content. Lynn, I know that
yeah.
time was tight today, and thank you so much for squeezing us in.
No,
Thank
it's
you.
been
So, is there
incredible.
anything else you want to share on the Mind Management Mentors podcast before we say goodbye?
Um, no, I want you just to encourage your listeners just to start honoring your body,
Mm.
making some quiet time for you just to go within and checking in and see where you're holding on to your tension. I've got a happiness and resourcing technique, a masterclass. I'm happy to share the link with your
We'll put it on the
viewers.
podcast. Yes.
It's a 2 hour masterclass, and they can just click on it and listen to it, and that helps them to track their emotions. So when things come up, and that helps them to start becoming more resourced, more resilient, more calm, and in their bodies. Yeah.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank this honestly, Lynn. This was an actually far superior podcast than I thought it was going to be.
Oh.
Lynn, seriously, absolute genius. And I mean that. I mean that. I think a lot of the things with the podcast that we get on with the guests and things like that, the amount of information that I take away, so that makes me learn more through the podcasts and speaking to these amazing guests such as yourself that we have on. And I can't believe there's a witchery museum in Leven. But Methylene Blue, if you do your research, and I think that's a really good advisory for the podcast, is
Yeah.
do your research, see if it's for you, and
Yes.
then give it a go. And I know for a fact I will be doing. So that is
Yeah.
absolutely fantastic. I
Awesome.
just want to say thank you very much for being on the Mind Management Mentors podcast.
It's a pleasure.
I'm a big believer in if it's in the mind, it can be managed.
Yeah.
And that's what the podcast is all about. And I've got someone trying to call me. So I just want to say a massive, massive thank you, Lynn.
It's a pleasure. It was
I have
really
a
fun.
feeling you're going
Thanks,
to be coming
Cuddy.
on the podcast again shortly.
Will do.
Big love from Cuddy, and we'll see you on the next episode of If It's in the Mind, It Can Be Managed.
Thank